Samurai Champloo could have been a story exclusively about men. Set in the Edo period in Japan, it's a time when, like much of the past, a tribal warrior culture relegated women to a background role at best, and more often to a role of property. If the series were a historical fiction, any female character would have to be secretive and extraordinarily lucky to do anything outside of her traditional role. A waitress was not likely to travel the 2,000-mile chain of islands without magical superpowers. But Champloo means mishmash in English. Among its many clashing but well-balanced story elements is the use of three protagonists with modern, even Western sensibilities. Fu gets to say and do what she wants. In spite of conforming to some anime tropes, Fu is more than just a token girl. Her empathy and compassion transform Mugen and Jean from something savage into something noble. Here's how that goes. Fu is honest about what she is. She knows that she is small and vulnerable, so to find her samurai who smells of sunflowers, she will need the help of men. Strong women recognize that, on the whole, war is among a man's powers, and fighting for a good cause, such as protecting a woman from predation by other men, changes raw violence into righteous force. It's important to note that men are not better than women for fighting in the name of a good cause. They're simply validated by doing what they're supposed to. In recruiting Mugen and Jean to become her bodyguards, Fu gives them that natural purpose. They have an unfinished duel from their first encounter, but Mugen and Jean promise not to fight each other until her mission is complete. Not that they never try to go back on their promise. Fu may seem like a damsel in distress, but she's way too assertive to actually fall into that trope. She sees good in Mugen and Jean. She's like Queen Guinevere giving a noble mission to the Knights of the Round Table. In that story, the knights revere their queen for being a champion of all they seek to protect. Without a good cause, Mugen and Jean are just killers who would die a killer's death. That nearly happens in the first episode. Fu then saves their mortal lives. But as the story goes on, Fu's good nature saves Mugen and Jean in a grander sense. Many episodes come down to winning a sword fight, but even Mugen and Jean can't win every battle, and often they simply need things that other humans provide, like food and shelter. Mugen and Jean are generally bad at any human interaction that doesn't involve fighting. Mugen reliably causes trouble, either by trying to dominate other men, or by trying to sleep with the women. Jean is reliably standoffish, only interacting with the most exceptional characters. This is where Fu's empathy saves the day. She is simply better at loving people. Paired with an almost foolhardy bravery, she can bring out the best in all but the worst people. Fu warms the heart of the giant Oniwaka. She keeps Mugen in line with the benefactor priest. She befriends the outlaw Okuru. She even rekindles the humanity in the assassin Sarah, who then sees a reflection of her lost son in Mugen and spares Mugen's life. The list goes on with many lesser characters. Without Fu's ability to talk to people, the story can't go on. In the final 3 episodes, Mugen and Jean prove how much they've come to appreciate Fu and her people-loving ways. Having started as a violent criminal and a jaded ronin, the warriors are ready to die for a girl who can pay them nothing and offer them nothing. She has already given them something worth more than anything. It's kind of a miracle that they survive, but if they hadn't, we could never observe their transformation. Though it's hard for them to give up being rivals, Mugen and Jean decide that there's something more important. They're actually friends, and they're friends with Fu. He who lives by the sword dies by the sword. For Mugen and Jean, that would have meant dying alienated and alone. But Fu lives by love, and her example has forever changed the lives of her badass warrior friends. Thanks for watching. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, and if you like it, please subscribe.